AI has made coding so much more fun. 2 years ago, I tried building out a few apps along the side when I just started at Meta to make some side income, but it always took a really long time. Whenever I tried to get an MVP out, it took about like a month and a half. And every time I ran into an obstacle, it took a really long time to just go through Stack Overflow. I wonder what happened to Stack Overflow. And now every time I run into an issue, I just beg Claude to help me out. And Opus 4.5, their new model, has never let me down. Over the course of the past few months, I've been testing different coding models to build out projects. Tried everything in Cursor, I tried Gemini, I tried Codex, I tried ChatGPT 5 for all of the different coding problems. They would always lose context, hallucinate, or end up writing duplicate code. This video is sponsored by Claude, and I can wholeheartedly say that after using a bunch of them, Claude Opus 4.5 is definitely the best. Okay, so let's get started with building out this web app. This is the exact tech stack that I use to build out any of my web apps. I use V0 for the initial template, but you can use anything like Lovable or Replit. All of these are pretty good. And then I mainly use Claude Code to build out most of the website. For the framework, I use Next.js and TypeScript, and for the CSS, I use Tailwind CSS. This is the main framework that's used by most of Vercel projects. For deploying the app, I use Vercel. For the authentication and database layer, I actually use Supabase. You can use Clerk or something like Next, but I like Supabase because it keeps everything in one place. For the payments, I use Stripe. For sending out emails, I highly recommend using Resend. It's free and it's really easy to use. For analytics, I use PostHog. To incorporate the company, I use Stripe Atlas. For grabbing the domain and managing it, you can use GoDaddy, but I use Porkbun because it's a lot cheaper. And to create a professional email and sending out emails, I use Google Workspace. Today, for the project that I'm gonna be building, I'm actually gonna build out a web app that gives you a random song every time you press the play button because there's always new songs that I wanna find out and listen to. You can follow along with this or build your own project. To start off, we need to figure out what language we're building in. Most people use TypeScript, so I'm gonna be using that as well. It's a lot simpler to incorporate into any other project. We have to create a new project in Vercel. If you don't have an account, make sure to make one. Then you create a GitHub repository for the project and connect it to the account, and then you can track it into your local folder. If you're not really familiar with using terminal and git commands, I highly suggest getting Warp. It's an AI IDE, it's intelligent, and you can just ask it anything that you want and it creates the commands for you. Next, if you don't have Claude Code installed, you can follow the instructions here, and I have a list in the description. And for the IDE, I usually use either VS Code IDE or Cursor IDE because they're the ones I'm most used to. Once you have Claude installed, you can log in and choose which model to use. If you have the free version, you actually can't use Opus 4.5. It's the model that I use the most, but I highly suggest paying for 1 month to just try it. It's leagues better than all of the other models that I've ever tried. I really like it because it breaks down large tasks into subtasks so that it can complete each subtask by itself without losing context. One of my least favorite things about the other models is that they always lose context and hallucinate code and start writing code that isn't something that you asked for. Many people also like to add a Claude.md file, and what this does is that it tells Claude what tools and commands you want to use for the whole project. So for instance, if you want to use bun over npm, if you want to have specifications for what programming language you want to use in specific files, you can put everything you want here. Now let's start with the prompt and some images for landing page design. What you can do is you can actually screenshot pages that you like from Mobbin or other websites like that, put it into Figma, and then go directly from Figma into Claude. And these are ones that I just grabbed from the internet. If you don't know how to make a prompt well, you can just use my template or ask Claude to optimize your prompt for you. The prompt is super important because it tells the AI exactly what you want the website to do. Okay, to get started, Claude has 3 different modes: plan mode, accept all, and ask before accepting. I suggest using plan mode when you're asking the first question or using a large prompt so that I can break it down to the subtasks first. Then I usually keep Claude running for the rest of the time because I just trust it with most of what it does. Okay, so while I wait for Claude to finish writing the code, and while I do this, I usually just scroll through TikTok, swing in my chair, walk in circles, and then boom, it created its first version. Now for every project, you need a .env file. This file holds all of your API keys. For this project, we want to add an authentication and database with Supabase. To clarify, the reason why I use Supabase is because, as you can see, it's really easy to set up and you can visualize all your data and tables in one place. Okay, now that we have the authentication lined up, we ask Claude to add that into the super keys that we give it. And these keys are just the API keys to allow your project to connect to Supabase. All right, let's give it a go and see what it looks like. To start local development, you can use npx run dev, but we told it to use npm since we are running with npm run dev. And voila, here we go. It doesn't look too bad. As you can see, we have a whole website here where the user can click a button to suggest them a song. It's actually pretty well designed. To make it even more robust, I'm going to add an AI model to suggest even more songs based on the preferences of the user. I'm going to be using an API key from Claude to do this, and I'm going to prompt Claude to create a system prompt and incorporate this AI model to suggest more songs based on the user preferences. This is really helpful if you want to just add AI or create a project with AI. It really helps because in this day and age, everyone's using it in all their projects. And boom, here we go. Now we have a finished product and we have the AI chat that gives me preferences for songs that I want and randomizes the songs. If you want Claude to look at the website that you created, you can use something called an MCP or Model Context Protocol. Claude can actually see what's on your screen because a lot of times I find out that maybe I want a few things changed in the front end and then Claude doesn't really understand and it changes it too weirdly. So this really helps for Claude to exactly know what you want changed. Additionally, Claude introduced something called Claude Skills this year. I'm not gonna get into it for this video, but these are tools that Claude can use to make your development easier. One skill that I actually use in all my projects is one that allows Claude to review my PR every time I push a new change to GitHub. This is really helpful because it's been able to catch a bunch of mistakes that I miss, because a lot of times when I put AI on accept all, it creates a bunch of different changes, and this allows it to check itself, so it's been super helpful. If you want a list of more Claude skills that you can add into your own development, you can check out these GitHubs here. I hope that after this tutorial, you learned a lot more about how to use AI to create your own web app. This took me less than an hour when previously this would have taken multiple weeks to create. Thank you so much for watching and follow for more videos on tech and AI.